Good morning, Year 6. Welcome to Monday's Magpie lesson. This week, at the end of the week, in our published right, we are going to be publishing a letter sent from Olive. Remember, she has been evacuated to Devon, and she is sending a letter back to her mum, who is still in London. Remembering that Olive might have gone through many different emotions since she last saw her mum, so we're going to explore that a little bit further today. In the text, this is the postcard that Olive sends to her mum. However, we are going to up-level and stretch this postcard and make it into a letter. So she says, remembering we're in February 1941 in the middle of World War II. Olive says, "Dear Mum, the train took 7 whole hours, but it was jolly good fun meeting the other children on board. Queenie's just how I imagined her. She's made us ever so welcome. We've got our own big bedrooms, so Cliff's happy, though he wishes there was a dog here. Lots of love, Olive." And on the right-hand side, she's made sure to write her mum's name and the address that mum lives in, and remember that's in London. So, we are going to be writing a letter. To add some context for our learning this week, postcards and letters were one of the only ways that evacuated children, like the ones you can see in the pictures, communicated with their families back, and they were normally in the cities. Remember that children were often evacuated from cities and urban places because these were more dangerous. They were more likely to be bombed because of the factories and because of the houses, the volume of houses that were there. So children were often evacuated to the safety, the relative safety of the country. This would have been a really frightening experience for many of these children. Some of them might have been excited as well and a bit of a mixture of emotions, but their parents sent them to be evacuated, hoping and praying that their children would be looked after and be sent to a family who would be kind to them. They also sent them because the government urged them to send the children to make sure that the children were safe. So if the unfortunate event happened, that the city was bombed, for example, it would ensure that the children were safe in the countryside. So many families made this really difficult decision to send their children away to be evacuated. It would have been really upsetting for parents, but they were trying to do their best for them to keep them safe. To organise the evacuation, children would have had the evacuation tags that you can see here in this photo. The tag would have stated their name, their address that they had come from, and any special requests that their parents had made. These weren't always fulfilled, but they might have been. Okay, so the lady here who's looking at the children, she is probably a billeting officer, making sure that the children are put in suitable households. So, for example, in a text that we have read before in school, "Good night, Mr. Tom," the main character's mum asks for him to be placed in a house that is religious, that is near a church, because she believes that his religion is really important to their family. So she wants him to be able to visit the church and keep up his religion and his beliefs. Okay? Children wouldn't have been able to take much. They would have been able to take just their few belongings. And remember, in the chapters that we've read, Olive is told by her mum only to take 3 books because she doesn't want her suitcase to be too heavy, but Olive sneaks in 5 because she loves reading books. So we are going to write a letter to Mum back home in London from Olive. Have a think, pause the video now. How would Olive have felt writing this letter? She's just arrived in Devon. How would she have felt writing the letter to Mum? She might have got a little bit teary maybe. She might have a bit of a mixture of emotions. And the other question I want you to think about is, would she tell the whole truth? If you were Olive, would you tell Mum everything? So if you were feeling a bit sad, would you tell Mum that you were feeling sad? Olive is 12 or 13 and she might be thinking about Mum's feelings as well, and she might want to hold back some information. So maybe she is upset, but she doesn't want to tell Mum that so that Mum worries. So we need to think about that as we write our letter. So here is an example for you. This is a waggle for you. I want you to pause the video now, have a read of our waggle, and tell me which words and phrases are effective. So you can write some words and phrases into a word bank in your book. Whilst you do read as well, make sure you look at the structure. So we have got the address up in the top right hand corner and the date. Then we need a salutation, so dearest mother, showing who the letter is to. And then as you can see, we have got paragraphs. So pause the video now, have a read of the letter, and write down any effective words or phrases that you come across as you read. Okay, hopefully you have spotted some really effective words or phrases. So we have got, I am writing to you to let you know that I have arrived safely. So that's going to be similar to Olive's. They have used prepositional phrases such as inside the cottage to explain to the people at home what their lifestyle is like now in the evacuated house. They have told their reader exactly who they are talking about. So his name is Sammy. Sammy is grey with white patches on him. So the things, the elements of their new life that have interested them. So that might be good things or bad things. Olive is quite likely to tell her mum all about the difference, so the countryside being so different to back in London. She probably would notice the difference. It might be one of the first times she's ever been out to the countryside. She's very likely to tell mum all about the inside of the house, what's around the house. Maybe there's fields, whereas in London it might have been quite a busy street with lots of houses. So have a think about that as we make our word bank today. Hopefully in your books you should have a word bank of effective words and phrases. I have also given you another waggle. This one is really clear and to the point, however I think it could have been stretched. So we have got some really nice opening lines such as I have now arrived safely. I personally think that could definitely go into your word bank as a phrase. The townspeople. I love it here. However, here you might have spotted that they have up-leveled and edited because they have spelt here wrong as a homophone. And then they've signed off, hope all is well, and the person writing the letter. So they are our waggles for this week. Tomorrow we will be drafting. So from today's lesson, make sure you have got a word bank that is then developing into phrases. So you should have magpied some really effective words or phrases from both of these waggles, and you should be starting to put them into more extended phrases. If you are aiming for greater depth or platinum, you should be putting them into sentences so that we are ready to draft tomorrow.